Hi everybody, this video is sponsored by contribution from Laura, and here's her story. Hi Ollie, my name is Laura and I'm 29 years old. I've sent in an audio recording. Basically, I've been with my boyfriend who is Russian for 2 years, 3 months. We've been living together for 2 years. I met him in a job we were in over 3 years ago. I also need to mention I have borderline personality disorder. I am what you call a quiet borderline, not a classic borderline, meaning I'd rather hurt myself than other people I don't care about, and I don't act out like some borderlines do. I'm also an introvert. I'd question whether you're a borderline then. I have a lot of rage inside me, which rarely, if ever, comes out. I keep it in because I don't want to hurt people I care about, even my narc mother. I was raised by a narcissistic mother and what I believe to be narcissistic father. He died almost 4 years ago. I fell head over heels, and I would question right there if you're really a borderline or you're just abused by narcissists. I fell head over heels in love with him after 3 months. He was everything I ever wanted, very charming and seemed to have everything together, or so I thought. But there were some red flags which I ignored. His constant need for attention, his bragging about himself, and also his lack of concern for things or people that didn't matter to him. I also found out approximately a year ago that I was the fifth girl he slept with at work. I knew there was one, but not that high a number. And one of the girls he actually cheated with on his most previous ex, and then moved that ex into the house, him and the girl we both worked with. To this day, his previous ex doesn't know she was living in the house with her boyfriend and the girl he had sexual relations with. Shortly after me and my boyfriend moved in together, it was revealed to me that he was talking to this particular ex-girlfriend behind my back, who he promised he wasn't having any contact with. She deliberately pushed into me 3 times at a nightclub when me and him were dating, and was begging him back constantly, texting him, sending him those long essays on Facebook about how they should be together, until I said, I'm not comfortable, and he said, okay, I will block her. But when I found out they were still talking and sending stupid cat videos to each other after we moved in together, I was furious and devastated that he would lie about something like that. And when he was caught out in his lie, he said that's not what happened. He would admit to it and got quite verbally aggressive. That was the first sign I got that something was wrong. Another sign was I found out he was then talking to another ex-girlfriend behind my back and pretended she was a friend. So that's where my paranoia comes in. Trust is earned, not given. I'm not going to lie, I was snooping through his phone a lot after all the shit because I needed to know what the fuck was going on. Most of the fights we've had have been about girls that he would have something with in the past and exes, but still talking to, and money. He owes me $4,000, which I loaned to him last November because I was miserable and wanted to make him happy. He's gone back home approximately 7 times for weeks at a time and is very distant when he's gone. I'm talking not getting in contact for 24 hours, that type of thing, which I explained to him really made me feel uncomfortable. He was back home in Eastern Europe last summer for 2 months for eye surgery, but the surgery took a couple hours and he was fine after 1 week. Going to bars constantly offline on Viber, which we use to communicate when he's abroad. I came over towards the end of his trip and met his family and spent almost 2 weeks there. When I came back, his Gmail was open and I realized he had joined a dating site for 3 days. Yes, wrong for me to snoop, but that was it. I was devastated and furious when I confronted him and kept saying, he kept saying, how dare you go into my private emails? How many times have we been through this? I told him to fuck off. How could he use that as an excuse that he's a low-life cheating scumbag? And he kept pushing me onto the bed every time I went to get up to get dressed and go spend the night at my mother's house. I was I was crying, and he kept pushing me on the bed and saying, "You're not going anywhere." I said, "Let go of me." He said, "Good, it's over then. I can go back home and won't have to deal with a crazy bitch anymore." I packed a bag and slammed the door behind me. When I came back the next day, I went about doing my own thing, and he apologized and said sorry, that he chatted with girls he found attractive, but that was it. He said he had met up with one of them, and he said if he had met up with one of them, we would have been over. He promised even though he gave his number to about 10 girls, he deleted them and never met up with them because he realized he was just being stupid and had a moment of madness for 3 days. Bear in mind, I knew something was wrong that weekend in May last year. Call it a sixth sense intuition because he was online a lot more, and yet not saying good morning or how are you or telling me about his day. I told him if he ever tries anything like that again, we're done. He accepted. Shortly after that, we got another cat, a kitten. In September last year, who he calls his cat. He's going away again back home in a few weeks on September 7th for almost 2 weeks because he has a family member seriously ill. But I know deep down he will be at bars, clubs, drinking in fields a lot. And in that part of the world, the females are really flirtatious and easy. I know because I was there myself and I seen it with my own eyes. Girls deliberately flirting with them in front of me to get a reaction, but I would never react as that's what they wanted. It's fucked up over there in a lot of ways, and they are very sexist as a whole. So I always get anxious when he goes over. Let's face it, he isn't going to spend 24 hours of every day with his ill family member. Yeah. Russian women are whores, and Russian men are liars. And that's just based on my experience working 20 years at Macy's and loss prevention. Okay, Russian women are whores. Okay, Russian men are liars, and a lot of them are thieves. And to give you an example, you know, when we did the racial breakdowns of who we were apprehending for what crimes, Russians were number one in credit card theft. And for me personally, I always had a thing about credit card theft because to me, it's the shittiest thing you can do to somebody. And his behavior here is indicative of that. It's the entitlement to other people's things. It's the user mentality of a narcissist that leads to these type of Russians that do these things. So I know what you're saying is true. We broke up on March 25th because he got violent with me when I was just about ready for work and asked for my phone back. He had my phone hooked up to the laptop to get the pictures off it. He had it for a good 30 minutes while I was getting ready for work. However, when I came in, I could see he wasn't looking for those pictures. He was looking through different albums. I calmly asked him for my phone back, and he said no when I'm done. I said, "Dimitri, I need to go to work. I'm going to be late. Just give me my phone back." He came over to take it off him. He let out that rage look in his eyes and pushed me against the wall and banged my head against it, choked me and pulled my hair really hard. This was not the first time he was physically abusive, but it was the worst. I panicked. I rang my boss, told her I wouldn't come into work, and I rang a now ex-friend. Turns out she was a narc as well, but that's a whole different story. And me and her arranged that she would come up with a car and with both of our cars, move all my stuff, including my 10-year-old cat, back to my mother's house. Believe me, this was a hard decision to do considering my mother is a narc. She is a compulsive hoarder and the house is a pigsty. He left the apartment once he knew I was packing and my friend was coming over, and rang me a number of times saying, "Are you sure this is what you want to do?" My head Said yes. My heart said no. I said yes, I can't be physically assaulted anymore. He then went on to say, oh, it's just I had plans for us for the future and didn't want it to end this way. I'm sorry for losing my temper. I said it's too late. This email is getting long. Basically, it was very hard on me because I realized I'm codependent and I love him more than I've loved anyone else. Despite the abuse, I know you're going to say you love the person you thought he was, and that is true, but we have so much history, chemistry, and he's like a drug to me. He hoovered me back so I would spend every weekend with him and sometimes bring my cat. He said every weekend, come home, Laura, come home. Because we decided we were going to work things out approximately 2 weeks after I moved out, but on two conditions. He doesn't lay his hands on me anymore, and that the married new female colleague he had struck a very close relationship with, especially while we split up, stopped sending him pics of herself before hitting town. Stopped ringing him in the morning, at lunchtime, and in the evening. He even spent my birthday with her before we split up, as she invited him to take part in filming to make some extra cash. So they prepared that day for the filming. He was gone after that for 5 days filming, organizing in different parts of the country. He got a nice sum of money after it, but when I seen him after 5 days, I was excited to see him, and he lashed out telling me he needs his space. I was once again devastated. He had his space. I wasn't ringing him constantly or texting him constantly to deliberately not annoy him. Anyway, regarding the condition of his girl, he agreed to it and rang her after we got back together after leaving the apartment. Speaking in Russian, he said to her that he already told her a few weeks ago to back off. She was getting pretty intense, but she wasn't getting the hint. Why didn't he just change his fucking phone number? See, all this is bullshit. All this is your enabling bullshit of him. Because you won't cut him out, you won't cut your mother out. So again, here's another example of somebody ping-ponging themselves back and forth between narcissists. Okay? The real easy answer is change your fucking phone number. Okay, so all of this, okay, is bullshit, Laura. All of this, I can't believe he keeps doing it and giving him another chance. Okay, when you're not demanding he changes his number, changes his email, move to a new place, you're staying in the same place, make him change jobs, tell him, you go find another fucking job. You're enabling all this behavior. And I'm halfway down the your third page of this, okay, and it's more you just enabling his behavior, your mother's behavior. You need to cut all these narcissists out of your life. Otherwise, it doesn't matter what's on the audio. It's not going to change. According to him, he said, look, I'm trying to work things out, Laura, and it's not healthy for you, for either your marriage or my relationship, for us to be in constant communication. He told her he had no use for her anymore and enough was enough. His words, not mine. And they're only words. If he didn't want the communication, he would change his fucking phone number, block the numbers, change the numbers, but he doesn't do that. These are words. He told her he had no use for her anymore and enough was enough. She acted cool with it, but then tagged him in something a few weeks later, and a huge argument escalated between me and my. Why is she on his Facebook? Why are you letting these people stay in his life? And then acting like I can't believe this is happening. It was around this time, bear in mind, I still haven't moved back in with him, but I was seeing him every weekend, and we were in a relationship. that I said I suspected he had narcissistic personality disorder. He said, "What's that?" I told him to do some research, maybe watch a video, but gave him the traits associated with it. He listens to the traits and said, "Not gonna lie, I agree with most, if not all of them. But Laura, why didn't you tell me this sooner? How selfish of you not to tell me this sooner." I said, "Because I didn't want to hurt your feelings, obviously, and I know it would probably be met with hostility, but now that we've had some time apart, I felt it was a good time to tell you." He actually called me selfish for not suggesting it earlier in the relationship. I'm always damned if I do, damned if I don't with Dimitri. Anyway, he went to his GP a week later and filled out a test with the GP, which the GP confirmed was professional and not a test for fun off the internet. The GP diagnosed him with NPD and gave him a number for a place close by that is low cost for therapy with trainee counselors and people working to get their psychology degree. In other words, they're studying. We watched Sam Backen videos, and he would say, yeah, 90% of it is definitely true, but some of it isn't. He definitely agreed with the part of the conversations where he has to win at all costs and doesn't care about other people's feelings. He thinks of conversations as verbal competitions and will do whatever it takes to win. He called me more names than I can think of. A leech, a bitch, a stupid fucking cunt, a witch, the craziest girlfriend he ever had, even though he has told me the other ones were crazier and retracted his original accusation from me being the crazier one, but then uses it again when he's in a rage. A pathetic little worm, lots of names. I'm sure I just push it back to the back of my mind so I can't remember everything. He finally went yesterday to this place. In the audio, he refers to this trainee counselor psychotherapist as a doctor. He's not a doctor. When you hear me talking, I just go along saying he is a doctor because before the audio began, this is how it went. He came home and I say, "Babe, how did it go?" He said, "Very well. The doc says I don't have NPD." I said, "Really? How did he come to that conclusion?" He said, he just said I don't have NPD. I said, "What about everything you confessed to me? Your test scored off the charts on the NPD scale and the GP." He instantly said, "Laura, stop, enough. You're trying to convince me that I have NPD. Well, guess what? I don't." I said, I'm not trying to convince you that you have NPD. I'm just saying this counselor, doctor, whatever he is not a trained, licensed psychiatrist that specializes in NPD, and how could he make that judgment after meeting with you for the first time for a 45-minute to an hour session? He got extremely angry at this and said, "I see what you're trying to do here. You're trying to convince me I have NPD when the truth is I just live with a crazy bitch that is driving me mad by constantly fucking with my head. You're not a psychologist. Fuck off, you leech." I immediately went into shock and scared mode and calmly said, "Dimitri, this guy hasn't been living with you for 2 years and isn't professionally qualified and hasn't seen the real you, the you under the mask, and that you told me that you wear on a daily basis because you feel different and superior to everyone and try to hide it." Aggressive, and said, "You know what? I'm going to record this conversation." Unfortunately, his battery died at the end, and after that was when I was really crying uncontrollably because he said, "Nobody will want your fucking crazy ass. You're a borderline. You're trying to pin a mental disorder on me. Fuck you, fuck off anywhere. I don't care." And at that point, he shook my shoulders really hard while I just covered my head. He then went into the bathroom and I just cried on the couch and felt totally defeated. I know what he did. He went in, charmed the trainee counselor, psychotherapist, and it worked. Now I look like the evil one that is just out to get him. He is very paranoid about things like that and told me before that once he meets a person and sizes them up, picks out their biggest weaknesses subconsciously, and he doesn't do it on purpose, but he does it so he can use it against them, and if when the time comes. He told me about this a month ago. I said, why do that? He said, I don't know. It just comes natural to me, and trust me, it has worked on a lot of occasions. Please note during the recording I was scared and possibly not the most articulate person speaking and responding. Please, because what he does is raises his voice so much that it scares me when all I want to do is get through to him and just have a normal conversation. Look, I have a diagnosis of BPD. Sure, I don't like it. I hate it, in fact. However, I wouldn't go to a trainee psychotherapist or whatever the fuck he calls this low-cost college thing. And if they say you don't have BPD because I put my best face on and charm my way out of it, I wouldn't go home telling my boyfriend, hey, I don't have BPD, yay, because he wouldn't buy it. He didn't apologize to me this morning while getting ready for work for shaking my shoulders. And if I talk to him about it later, he will say it's cause I made him do it. That's the excuse he gave every time before. I would call and find out if he actually went. Nobody's going to give him a diagnosis like that after 45 minutes. I questioned if he actually went. Okay, I would call myself and say, how is it you can give a diagnosis in 45 minutes? That somebody doesn't have something in one session. Not asking, I just want to know, is that typical? That you can diagnose, somebody comes in and you can diagnose them in one treatment. Is that typical? Look, Ali, I know you're thinking, what the fuck are you doing with this guy? But you have to understand, it isn't easy. I can't just move out. Rent is extremely high in Ireland. And over here, it's next to impossible to get somewhere to live with your cat if I go back. And if I go back to my narc's mom's, I will go stir crazy. I don't have many friends. I'm quite an introvert. Dimitri owes me $4,000 for the car and then approximately $800 for rent and bills. So how is he calling you a leech? And I don't buy that. You're making excuses. No, I don't buy that. I know people in Ireland. I know rents are high. Rents are high everywhere. I don't buy that. You had $4,000 to give him. You had $800 to put on rent and bills. Don't tell me you can't go get an apartment. That is utter nonsense. Utter nonsense. What I think you're doing is I think you're waiting for somebody to come along. Nothing's going to change in your life, Laura, until you change it yourself. Anybody who's going to come in and possibly sweep you out of there is only going to take advantage of you. You are not going to get any better until you stand up for yourself. You had $4,000 for a car, $800. Don't tell me you can't get out. I don't buy it. Not for a second. He knows by November he has to give me the $4,000 back because we had both signed a document and agreeing to that. He said he will have no choice but to sell it. But I've been trying to get the rest of the money out of him. I was on holiday in July with 2 girls and a nice quiet island. Well, if you could go to a nice quiet island, why your priorities are all wrong here, Laura? Don't tell me in one sentence you have nowhere to go and you can't afford it, but then you're going to go to a quiet island in the next sentence. Bullshit. I booked it when I moved home after we split up at the end of March, and I moved back in June. I moved back in while he was once again back home in Eastern Europe. He was delighted I was home for the first week or so, then started acting distant, cold, selfish, and expecting almost for his ass to be white for him. While I was on holiday, he was ringing me constantly, which I was surprised about, considering I don't ring him when he is away, even though he accuses me of it, and that's not the case. The case is I just ask him in text over Viber to please communicate with me more and not just disappear and not share anything about his time away because he is so secretive. Yeah, he's jealous because he's afraid somebody's going to sweep you away. When he would ring me, I would almost be telling him about what we were up to, where we were going, etc. But if we talk when he's abroad, he doesn't share that info with me unless it's to do how much running around after his family. Anyway, on holidays, he rang me one day and said, well, that trip you want to go on to Italy, guess what? I'm going to book the tickets in a few weeks. I was over the moon. The next day he rang me and told me he needed a loan of $1,000. I said, why? He dropped a bombshell on me that he hadn't paid the rent in 4 months. I was livid. I said, how could you do this? How long do you think we were going to get away with it? And how could you promise me a holiday yesterday when we both know it's not going to happen? He said he was sorry, but he didn't want to worry me. He got a loan of $25,000 off his mom, and I paid the rest from my credit card, which is why I'm in debt now and need the money back onto my credit card ASAP. Otherwise, I will be in big trouble next month. When he picked me up from the airport after my return flight, he attacked me verbally because I was in a bad mood from the flight and hungry. He said, my life has been so much happier this week without you in it. Yeah, he's going to try looking for a bailout now because he sucked up all the money. I was crying my eyes out. I even said in the pub, why do you think I don't want to have sex with you anymore? I asked him how he felt about me the next day, as in, has his love for me declined the way it did with his previous ex, and does he find me less attractive? Like, why are you kissing? Like, are you out of your fucking mind? Like, I'm not reading any of this anymore because this is just, like, we got it. He's a total narcissist. Like, I can't read this anymore because all it is you just being out of your freaking mind with this guy. I gotta finish reading it. Oh. I asked him how he felt about me the next day, as in his love for me declined the way it did with his previous ex, and he does find me less attractive. And he said, yes, sorry, but it's the truth. I was crying. I said, is it because I put on some weight? I put on approximately 4 kilograms since being in love with him, and he likes slim women. He says, no, Laura, it has nothing to do with the little bit of weight you've put on. It's you. I was crying and said, look, it's probably the best. I just cut my losses and then not waste your time or mine. And he said, no, I'm going to work on it, okay? I believe we can do this. So I guess that's why I've stayed. My personal opinion is he just gets bored of the same girl after a while. His longest relationship was a girl whom he cheated on approximately 10 times. This was about 5 years ago, by the way. I found out they were still talking, and as well not too long ago. I'm not insecure over her and him talking because, believe me, she's not attractive in the slightest and is married with a kid, but I was more furious and hurt over the lies. The fact that he didn't tell me she rang him a few times and I had to see myself for a 36-minute phone call 1 month and then a 12-minute phone call for the next month. I just don't get it. He says all the time he can't understand why he was with her for so long because she's not good looking and they have nothing in common, and that was his excuse for cheating on her so many times. My guess is she did all the cooking and cleaning and hung on for dear life, and that's why he remained with her. I even told her about his cheating ways and she wouldn't let him go. Whereas when he knows with me, if he is so much as kisses Never mind sleeps with someone. He's dead to me. Sometimes I wish he would just cheat on me or just punch me in the face really bad so that I could have the strength to say, fuck this, I'm done. But he's too smart for that. You wouldn't be done. You wouldn't be done. You wouldn't be done. I don't understand, Holly. I came down with a really bad illness last week, and he took off one day of work to spend with me, get me everything I needed, including food and medicines. He was so nice to me. He's gotten my car fixed for me. Apparently, there were a lot of problems with it, and I passed the test we have in Ireland, which is a test to make sure your car is roadworthy and you have to get a certificate. Without him, I would have been screwed as I know nothing about cars and would have ended up being ripped off by Irish garages. He can be the most helpful person sometimes, and other times he thinks I'm out to get him and he hates me. I know you think I'm done for staying here, but please believe me when you're not trapped. No, you're not trapped. You are not fucking trapped. You are sucking up this victimization bullshit yourself. You are not trapped. You are not trapped. So I asked the night before for the last time since we discussed it a month ago, has anything changed or you look? He is eating up this bullshit. And he wouldn't answer the question. He said, stop annoying me. He said, I'm sorry, I don't mean to annoy you. I just want to know, has anything changed? I haven't asked you since we talked about it, and I'm not getting any younger, and I want to feel that love again that I used to feel from you. He said, Laura, stop. Enough of your bullshit and trying to wreck my head, and you'll never stop, will you, God, fuck off. And left the room for a few minutes. Needless to say, felt like a piece of shit. I cried a bit and went to sleep. That's basically what the audio involves. I've given a time limit in my own head. He knows nothing about it if nothing has changed. His love towards me by January, I'm leaving again. You're not going anywhere. You're not going. There are no time limits. There are no set dates. I mean, how much is enough? How much is enough? And I'm telling you, you just go on and on and on and on. I think you want him to hit you. I think you want him to hit you. Because you go on and 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 on about the same stuff, trying to spark him to hit you. You need help, Laura. Okay? You need some serious, serious help. And you ain't going to get it with this guy or your mother or all these fucking excuses you keep making. Because that's what they are. They are excuses. If nothing has changed as in his love towards me, well, you're going to make him love you? By January, I'm leaving him again for good this time because I'm 30 in March and don't want him wasting my time. I want a family and kids eventually. I'm asking you for help here, not just from the story, but from the audio alone. Do you think he's a narcissist? Because I know now he's convinced he's not, and he will tell his flying monkey that it wasn't really true despite the general practitioner and the NPD test confirming it was true. I want to know the truth. I feel like I'm going crazy. And if you or maybe some commenters would give your opinion based on my story and my audio recording, I'd really appreciate it. I donated and I'm pretty much begging for your help here. Thank you so much, Laura. Well, I'm giving you my help by being honest with you. He's obviously a narcissist. I don't need to listen to the audio to know that. The audio is another 15 minutes long. So this isn't about him. I don't need to hear the audio. I don't need to hear the audio. We don't need to hear it. And it's not because I don't want to play it. Okay, it's detrimental to you. We got it. This story is enough. We don't need the audio played. You are trapped in this. You're not trapped in this bullshit. This is of your own making at this point. You are not going to will him to love you. You are not going to will him to stop using you for money. You are not going to will him to stop cheating on you with other women. It doesn't matter what's in this audio. It doesn't matter. Screw it. I'll play it anyway. Just to prove my point. What am I? 35 minutes in now, so might as well play it.
Said that the doctor told me I don't have NPD. And this is what my girlfriend has to say about this. Go ahead. Your time to shine.
What your girlfriend has to say is that you've had an hour appointment, maybe 45 minutes, I don't know, with that doctor.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't know you, like somebody that's known you for over 2 years and that has lived with you, and that this person, me, you've confessed to, you've no empathy. You can only love me to a certain extent. You lie. You manipulate the situation. You cheat.
Well, how I cheat?
You also told me, when I told you, because I have borderline personality disorder, and yes, I am not afraid to say that. So the audio will be played back to the doctor. I have no problem in admitting that. But when I told you that sometimes I get a release from hurting myself, when you were, let's say, drunk, let's just say drunk, you said to me,
when I was stoned.
You were stoned. I didn't want to say that, but that's your choice. If you want to say that to the doctor, that's your choice.
Mm-hmm.
But you were high, and you said, see, that's the thing, Laura, I get release from hurting other people.
Every single word I say to this woman gets multiplied by 10 to suit her.
It's not to suit me. It's not to suit me. That's what's in your head. I am saying facts.
Okay, but bottom line, I came back home, said that I don't have NPD, and she tried to convince me shut up, please. She tried to convince me for...
Shut up, please. Look, dude, you went for 45 minutes, if you even went. I question whether he even went at all. I mean, we could see he's abusive. Like, why would you take this?
For approximately half an hour, that the doctor is wrong, that I'm wrong. Laura, can you shut up, please? I'm talking now to the camera. Your goal, your moment to shine is gone. Okay? Try to convince me for about
your moment of shit. See, I mean, this is narcissism.
Half an hour. When I started saying nicely at the start that look, if you want to, can you shut up, please? Can you shut your mouth?
It was aggressive from the start.
This is him recording this. This isn't even a secret recording. He knows he's being recorded. And you think this guy is going to grow to love you?
When I said that, look, let it go. If you want to believe I have NPD, go ahead. I don't have a problem with that. I'm not going to deny it. If you're going to say anything in the future. Which was met by, oh yeah, but you did the test, but you did this, but you did that, so how can you trust? It's because you're a narcissist, you're denying it.
No, I never said that.
Laura, shut up, please. I'm talking to the fucking camera.
It's all about you. This is the thing.
I'm talking to the camera.
Here, not
This is just brilliant. This is actually just brilliant. So he can actually observe your behavior. So, again, talking to the camera, not to her. I don't know how she still is in this conversation. It grew and grew and grew. I kept asking her to let it go, quit it. She kept trying to make me see that I'm NPD, and when I said you are forcing me to think this way, she said no, I'm just trying to open your eyes, which is a completely and she's still talking, by the way. I don't know why.
We can hear her talking. You don't need to.
Because I should be allowed to have my say.
You can have your say after I have my conversation, okay?
Do you really? I can't
So,
believe
yeah.
this guy actually
I don't
recorded
know.
this for
I'm
himself.
starting to think that lately. I don't know, and it's like that with every single fight we have. Yesterday, I was stoned, so I was able to control my anger. And she has started a topic which straight off the bat I knew is gonna grow into a full-on fight, that she's gonna fuck with my head, and I'm gonna lose it eventually. So for approximately a good 40 minutes, and again, it was because I was stoned and I was able to control my anger. For approximately 20 minutes, I was trying to convince her to drop it. I was trying to convince her to stop, and I actually had a conversation with her saying, "Look, I know what."
And this part is where you're making your mistake, and not even a mistake, because if somebody comes back and tells me, yeah, I wasn't diagnosed after 45 minutes to an hour, and the first time I said, and this is what I got, I drop it and walk the fuck away. That should have told you everything you wanted to know. But by you constantly, you're giving him what he wants. And what I think you want subconsciously is that for him to attack you.
This is going. Can we just change the topic? I know where this is going. I know you're gonna make it into a fight. Whatever I say now, I know the ending of it. We're gonna have a huge, huge fight. You're gonna get to me, and we're gonna have a huge fight. Did that stop Laura? Hell no. It doesn't matter. What I've noticed lately, it doesn't matter whether I give in to her provocation or not.
It's not provocation.
It still ends up in a fight.
It's not provocation.
Even yesterday, I was avoiding the topic, and I kept saying that, look, why are you doing this? We're gonna have a fight. We're gonna have a fight. She still kept at it. She still kept. Then she tried to play that. Oh, she's all pissed off because I'm not having this conversation with her. So it doesn't matter what I say.
You want to avoid all this? This is what you should have done. When he came home, said he didn't have NPD, and you tried the first time, you should have started packing your bag. Say, fuck this. If you can't accept this, if you're going to try this, you don't even acknowledge this bullshit. You don't sit there and try to fucking argue with an idiot like this after an hour, one session, comes home and says this shit, and you think he's going to fucking love you? Come on.
The way I avoided it is I went into bed and I just left the room. I just left the room for a couple of minutes, got myself an ice cream. When I came back, I haven't mentioned the topic. She was all acting all pissed off and stuff. I just ignored it, and as if nothing happened, and just played dumb. That way, we just went to bed and the fight was avoided. But the problem is, I cannot do it when I'm sober. I cannot do it because of the fact that she gets to me. She gets to me before I have a minute to think and kind of go, fuck it, let it go.
Can I have my say on that?
You can say all you want.
Today, a month ago, just make sure the sound is on. Today, a month ago, Dimitri told me he didn't feel the same way about me anymore. He didn't love me the same way, and he wasn't attracted to me the same way anymore. And last night, I asked, has that changed in any way? And he said, stop. Shouted, got aggressive. Stop, Laura, stop. You're really going to piss me off. I said, okay.
Just mention where this topic started.
Why are you allowed to interrupt?
You see how it sucks.
Dimitri, you're always
Mention
interrupting me. You're
started.
always interrupting me.
Mention where it started from.
I can't remember where it started from. I can't remember. But the point of the matter is, a month ago, that's what he told me. And I just asked last night when he was stoned, has anything changed? He's hitting the cat right now. I asked, has anything changed? And he said, Laura, stop. This conversation is over. I'm not talking about it. That's it. No, I'm not. I don't want to talk about it. And I just said, well, I just want to know, has anything changed? And the reason for that is because I don't want to be in a relationship with somebody that is kind of like, half into it, half not. I want to be with someone that's crazy about me. And considering this person told me he never loved anybody in his life, apart from his parents, Joey, it's okay. Why wouldn't I be paranoid? Why wouldn't I be suspicious? Especially since a month ago, that's what he said to me. And I just wanted to know if his love evolved or got better or anything. And he couldn't even give me an answer. He just shut me down and said,
"How do you think it's gonna evolve when you keep going at it?"
I asked you first, and you said stop.
Why did you think we ended up in this situation?
Because I
you're
asked
constantly
you once.
fucking with my head, and
No,
obviously I feel less and less. I feel less even need to want to see you because I know that this is gonna end up. That you're gonna fuck with my head.
You less of me anyway, regardless. I hadn't asked you that in a month, and you're spending all your time at the garage or going to
because there's no Laura in the garage that will fuck with my head.
How could you say something like
that? So how do you expect?
So if she's so bad, why does he stay? If he's not using you, why is he staying there? If he's always at the, you know, and how does he explain not paying the rent for 4 months? By the way,
my feelings.
Say something
because
like
it's
that.
true. Because it's true. So deal with it.
And
you see, and that's the thing. You asked that question. And what am I supposed to answer? If I'll answer the truth, oh, that is so cruel. That is so fucking terrible. Poor Laura.
No, considering 2 weeks ago, you told me that you're not avoiding me and stuff like that when we talked in the bathroom. When I told you that
I am not avoiding you constantly, but when you're at this shit.
When I just want a bit of reassurance to know that my relationship is going somewhere.
You will not get this reassurance because I cannot give you this reassurance because you fuck with my head, therefore you're pushing me away. How do you not get that?
I'm not trying, but if I hadn't mentioned it in a month and I ask a month later, has anything changed? And you're just like, don't.
Nothing changed because you're still fucking with my head. Just the exact same way that you did last month and the month before that and the month before that. So what do you think is going to change?
Even though you said that I've gotten so much better lately, since before I moved out in March.
You've gotten so much better because you stopped being paranoid. But you're still fucking with my head just the same.
I'm not trying to fuck with your head. You assume everything that I do is trying to fuck with your head. If I have any disagreement
what would
with
have happened if I would say no, Laura? If I would say yesterday, no, Laura, they haven't evolved, what would have happened?
I would have just been like, okay, and I probably would have gone into the
bathroom.
I probably would have gone into the bathroom and cried. And probably would have thought to myself, okay, I'll just give it some more time, and then, you know.
Time is not going to help it. Your fucked up behavior in a few months is going to ruin it totally. And time has nothing to do with this. This is not a waiting game. This is not my feelings because, oh, I'm just bored of you. This is my feelings because the way you fucking treat me.
What have I done? I've been there for you.
I've done nothing. You're wrong.
I have been there for you, Dimitri. I've tried to support you. Through thick and thin, I have been here for you. Even when you didn't deserve it. Even when you didn't deserve it, I've been there for you.
And you know what I'm talking about.
You ordered it for me, and you think that compensates your mind?
I'm not trying to fuck with your head.
I don't care if you're trying or not trying. This is what you're doing.
If I say Dimitri...
And the end result is still the same.
But what about the fact that I'm absolutely terrified of you because of your anger and your rage?
Oh, so you just go, I'm absolutely terrified of this guy, so this is what I'm gonna make him even more mad.
Well, what am I supposed to do? Sit in the corner and a ball and cry and just take it? I have to speak my mind. I have to say, look, this isn't right, Dimitri. This isn't good behavior. Like, this is wrong. You told me you were going to come home after work, and next thing you arrive at the door at 10:30.
You are constantly starting fucking fights. You're constantly fucking with my head. And
I'm not. If anybody questions you, that's it. You blow. You go into a rage,
Laura,
and you won't hear anybody else.
Yes, you're saying I'm not doing this on purpose. But when a person is telling you, Laura, please stop. Laura, please fucking stop.
Yeah, I get it.
You're either as dumb as they come,
you don't
or you
need
just
to
don't
keep
give a fuck.
insulting me. You don't need to keep insulting me because that's toddler behavior, okay?
That's narcissistic behavior.
If
you would be a guy, I would gladly break your nose. Gladly, right here and right now. Let the doctor hear it. If you would be a guy, I would fuck you up so bad your mom wouldn't recognize you. But because you're
that's who you're trying to convince here. You know, your problem is twofold, Laura. You know, you're self-destructive, and it's based on narcissism, borderline personality disorder, and believe it or not, being in Ireland, it's cultural too. This happy being miserable type of Irish woman, okay, you are turning yourself almost into an Irish woman stereotype of, you know, the miserable Irish woman whose husband is constantly running around at bars, yada yada. And that's again from personal experience, being married to an ex-one, okay, with the happy being miserable type of thing. Okay, and several friends who stepped on that landmine as well. You are somehow comfortable in misery. You're comfortable in it. And I'm not saying that to be cruel. I'm saying that to wake you the fuck up. You're acting like some kind of old school stereotype here. Begging this guy after everything you've written and what we've heard, okay, begging this guy. It's still going on and on. Because I'm sure what he's saying about how you talk to him and all this is absolutely 100% accurate. And he can't figure out in his mind why you're... The only reason he's doing it is because you're allowing him to. He likes this. It's a means of control for him. And in the subconscious, you're comfortable with it. You can change this whenever you want. You cannot tell me that you can loan him $4,000 here, hasn't paid the bills, you used your credit card, I understand. You have a means to get out of here fairly quickly. Now, maybe you're not in a position where you can leave this very second, but I even kind of question that. But you can get out of there before January or November or whatever dates you're talking about. I have no doubt. You're staying there because you still somehow think you can convince him and you're comfortable in the abuse.
Girl, but you're still inflicting the same amount of shit on me. So therefore, I don't have a chance to hurt you physically. So I'm hurting you verbally.
When you ring
See,
me,
when the problem is when you're trying to be rational and explain to the narcissist, okay, for any period of time, half hour, an hour, you're not going to browbeat the fucking narcissist into getting your way. You're not going to stand there and be able to convince them. Ever. 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 The only thing they understand is you leaving. That is it. That is all. Besides going no contact, there is nothing you can do. There is nothing you can say. It doesn't matter how long you talk to him. All you're doing is giving him an excuse in his own mind, not rightfully, to act like this and then abuse you and then say, I wish you were a guy so I can knock you the fuck out. And yet you stand there and take it.
more than I ring you. When you text me, usually first, more than I text you when I give you space. How can you say that? Why are you saying I'm fucking with your head?
And let me be clear, you're not giving him space. He's giving himself space because he does whatever the fuck it is he wants. And then when he fucks up, he calls you and you fucking bail him out. So what space are you giving him that he's not taking on his own?
What does reading and fucking texting has to do with this?
Because you're saying I'm fucking with your head. I get it if I was somebody that was, where are you, what are you doing, blah, 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 blah. I give you your space. I get it.
Bruh, let's be honest. With this behavior, do you think you ever, not me, anybody in this world, do you think you're ever gonna have a family with this behavior? I'm sorry. And again, I'm a fucking cunt now for saying this.
It's a horrible thing to say, and you should never say
It's
that.
the honest thing to say. And I'm asking, I'm not saying anything. I'm
It's
asking
abusive behavior.
If you don't fix this, Laura, and I hate to agree with Dimitri because he is a narcissistic cunt, how will you ever have a healthy family? How? With you setting yourself up for victimization and abuse, how are you ever going to have a family the way you want it? Not with this guy. Nobody's can swoop in and save you, Laura. You got to save yourself. You got to get over this comfortable victimization that you've put yourself in to allow yourself to be abused. And you need to stop bouncing between narcissists. There's only like 20 seconds left of this.
I'm asking you a question. I'm not stating a fact. I'm asking you a question.
It's a horrible thing to say to somebody.
What do you think in your head with this behavior? I'm asking you a question. I'm expecting
What about yours?
I'm asking you a question. With this behavior and this carry-on, do you think anybody...
And that's where it cuts off. I don't think it's a matter of you being able to have a family. I think you would be able to do that, but it wouldn't be what you want. Are you prepared? In any way, shape, or form, in the current state of mind of how your brain operates? No. And I'm not saying that to be mean, but that's reality. But because you're standing there arguing with him, you're giving him the opportunity to do all this shit. Yes or no? You think you're going to change this guy? He's giving you no reason to change. None. Because you bail him out every time he fucks up. You keep catching him doing fucking girl after girl after girl after girl, and he's laying his hand. Like, at some point, enough's got to be enough. Because the only thing the narcissist ever understands is no contact. So to answer your question, yeah, he's clearly a narcissist. But it isn't even about him anymore. It is about you. And what you're doing and why you're allowing yourself to be abused like this. You are not going to convince him of anything. You are not going to browbeat or argue your way with a narcissist. You're just not, and especially this guy. The fact that he recorded this himself is stunning. So, you need to get out, Laura. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Stop arguing with him whether or not he's a narcissist or not. It isn't worth it. Now, whether or not you can stop yourself from doing that, we'll see. Because right now, you're acting as a stereotype who's happy being miserable. You keep saying you're giving him space, and what space? He's taking the space. What have you prevented him from doing exactly that he needed space from? Nothing. You need to get out, and you need to get out quickly. And you need to stop with the excuse making. So, thank you for your contribution, and thank you for the story and the video. Please don't take this as I'm attacking you. I'm trying to help you, and I'm trying to wake you up before something really bad happens. Because don't think, Laura, that if he thinks you really are going to leave, that he won't try to get you pregnant, give you what you really want, and that would be the ultimate disaster in your life with him. So, thank you again. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions or advice in the comments section below. Please no trolling or violently or viciously attacking anybody, because I've been noticing that shit going on too, and I don't like it. Please make your comments constructive. So, thank you again, though, to everybody watching. I appreciate it. And remember, if you want your story read on the channel, you have a narcissist you'd like to expose, or a topic you'd like me to cover, you know what to do with the PayPal and my email links in the description box. I'll have the video right back to you. This is Ollie Matthews. Thanks for watching. See you all again soon.